Hey, Jeff, do you know what type of podcast we are?
Well, we're not a history podcast.
That's correct. We're a comedy podcast. So any jokes, skits, or anything else we say is not reflective of our organizations, businesses, or any sponsors that we're associated with, even charities. So remind yourself, if you're offended, it's okay. It's just a joke.
Comic books, movies, growing up with Rokusuki. Superman before Zack Snyder ruined him. Man, that's something. Michael Keaton was the best Batman, while Christian Bale was just deadpan. No one remembers the other ones. Princess Leia in bikinis and Transformer Lamborghinis. Please don't let Shia LaBeouf ever act again. Please, God, no. Remembering tales from the crypt, back when Michael Bay wrote good scripts. He wrote the scripts. All right here is no mystery. It's the history of bad. It's bad. It's the history of bad. So bad. It's the history of bad ideas. It's the history of bad. It's bad. It's the history of bad. So bad. It's the history of bad ideas. Podcast.
Welcome to the History of Bad Ideas mix up with Pittsburgh Nerd. I'm Jason.
And I am Playboy Gary Hart from Chicago, Illinois. And I'm telling you, Dusty Rhodes, I know Texas. And there ain't nothing but a bunch of white-ass honkies in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I had to get my impression in.
And I am Sean from the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast.
And this is a special edition joint WrestleMania preview. WrestleMania 41, which is depressing just to hear that number.
It is, because I remember watching WrestleMania 1.
Okay. The Hulk Hogan, Mr. T.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, Mr. T against Roddy Piper and
Orndorff. Yep.
With the ace, Cowboy Bob Orton in their corner.
I love Cowboy Bob Orton. He had his cast on for 6 years, his broken arm cast. Never healed. It was really an issue. He should have gotten that checked out.
Yeah, he probably should have had like some sort of surgery, I would think. But
it was the 80s. Nobody gave a shit. They're just like, hey, Cowboy, go get some more steroids. You're fine. Allegedly. Well, I was watching WrestleMania 4 yesterday. I had that on. And I love WrestleMania 4 just because it had the tournament, and I'm a sucker for tournaments, good tournaments.
Yeah.
And I like tournaments that take place in one day. Like AEW puts out a tournament every other week, and I don't care because it's over a long span, like over several weeks. I don't give a shit about that. I want one night only. And I would love for WrestleMania, like for WWE, to do that in a future WrestleMania. Like you could do it over 2 nights now, even though I like them in one. But with 2 nights of WrestleMania, I wouldn't have a problem doing the first round and the quarterfinals in one night, and then semifinals and finals in the next night. But yeah, and WrestleMania 4 struggled because some of those matches were rough, because they were trying to get as many matches in as possible. But man, I just love Macho Man the whole time. I mean, it had a Murderer's Row. It had Butch Reed, the Natural, in it.
Yeah, there's a name you don't hear very often.
I loved Butch Reed. And then the worst thing that they did, though, is they had Greg Valentine beat Ricky Steamboat, so it wasn't even a rematch from WrestleMania 3 in the second round. Macho Man could have faced Ricky Steamboat, and instead he faced Greg the Hammer Valentine, which I like the Hammer, but they missed an opportunity for that.
It became that thing of predictability back then. Mm-hmm. Because, Vince was, especially back then, it was very strict. Good guys face bad guys.
Yeah.
You can't have a good guy versus a good guy.
Yeah.
Which nowadays they do that. But like back then, that would have, Randy Savage is a good guy now. We can't have him facing Ricky Steamboat. That's impossible.
I will give them credit though, like the storyline they made out was Macho Man had to go through 4 matches and 2 of his opponents didn't. Like one man guy got a bye. And then Ted DiBiase got a bye because Hogan and Andre, schmoozled or, they hugged each other too much or whatever. So that was I like the storyline of that. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoy that one. And it's not even the greatest wrestling. It's just I really like having, the championship decided in one night. So.
And WWE can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can have the 10-minute match. Like, for some reason, like, you talk about AEW and, like, the various tournaments they have. And I particularly like Classic because it's a lot like the G1 from New Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But, like, the Owen Hart tournament that they're doing right now,
mm-hmm.
like, they can't do it because their matches are 20 minutes long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you would have to have an entire pay-per-view just for the Owen.
I do like the one that they have, the rankings, like you said. I like that. Like, they wrestle over 2 months or whatever, and they get points for wins, losses, ties, I like that. But I agree.
It's not a knockout tournament. It's a points tournament, and then whoever has the most points, they face each other for who wins that grid.
Yeah.
And then the two winners of the grids are the finals.
And I agree. Like, the Owen Hart tournament should be a big deal, and it's not. Because they really don't they try to put emphasis on it, but like you said, it's over a certain amount of time, and you just kind of lose interest in it because it's a bracket tournament, like you said. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. It's just one of those things. So, did you end up watching the Netflix special on WrestleMania 9?
I did, yes.
I did too. What did you think of it?
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was like an interesting behind the scenes look of like what was their thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of it made sense from the standpoint of like, WrestleMania 9 was the first spectacle.
Yeah.
Like you think about like, well, WrestleMania 3 was, well, not really. I mean, they didn't have big sets. They didn't have, the biggest thing they had was like the little go-kart rings that brought you down because it was such a long fucking walk to get to the ring.
I love those go-kart rings.
I miss those. Like, I would love to see them bring them back at some point.
I would love to buy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Get around my subdivision in that. Just walk.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, we're going to the bus stop. Get in the ring.
Yeah. But, like, other than that, like, it wasn't. Like, it looked like a big version of a regular, like, WWF show at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first real spectacle, and, like, Vince putting money into the look and the feel of everything. And, WrestleMania 1 is the genesis, WrestleMania 3 is the propellant.
Mm-hmm.
9, as bad of a show as it was, and it was a horrible show.
It was.
It's the first time that they went that extra mile to make it feel special.
Yeah, they did a lot more style points in 9 than substance. Like, the substance was awful. And I did think it was funny, like, throughout the whole documentary, they never mention how bad the matches were, except for the Undertaker match.
Yeah. Like, Undertaker was just like, I will not put over Giant Gonzalez. He was horrible to work with. But like CM Roberts was like trying to put over like that Crush Doink match. I'm like, CM, I usually respect what you have to say, but here you're just being a company man. You are just chilling the company right now because that match was fucking horrible.
It was awful. We got 2 doinks.
Yeah. And then at the end with Bret Hart losing the Yokozuna, which made sense, but then Hogan coming out for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think Hulk Hogan's black eye was a jet ski accident with Brutus the Barber Beefcake being the hero, or do you think Macho Man clubbed him?
I think in a very suspicious manner, somehow Hulk Hogan's face met Randy Savage's fist.
That's how I feel. That's a good way to point it. I did they kept saying, oh, no.
There is no way in hell, like, if the accident he's talking about happened, he would have been able to like, function.
No.
He would still be in the hospital.
Well, brother, 700-pound jet ski fell, got into the water and hit me. And I kind of like did a backflip, double flip and then I got hit with the jet ski. Yeah, you would be dead. You would not have a black eye. So for people that are wondering what we're talking about, Hulk Hogan had a really bad black eye, stitches at WrestleMania 9, right before it. The rumor is Macho Man, who hates Hogan, punched him really hard in the gym. And Hogan's story is that him and Bruce Beefcake were doing jet skis the day before, and Hogan flipped over. And Bruce Beefcake was awesome. He's like, it was a double backflip underneath toe hook into the water. And then he got hit with the jet ski into the eye. Just the eye.
Yeah. Not this one little part of his face.
And so, but it was funny, like listening to the wrestlers talk about it, they're like, yeah, Macho Man punched him.
Yeah.
But typical Hogan, he has Jimmy Hart and Brutus Beefcake back him up. Why? Because Brutus Beefcake pulled him from the ocean. So Brutus Beefcake is the hero. So of course he's going to go along with that.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Hart's just a, Hogan fanatic. So, but yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
I get a phone call. I'm like, what are we going to do? Oh my God. Hogan's dead. Hogan's dead.
How are we going to wrestle?
Oh.
And then,
how am I getting paid?
And I like that Hogan's like, well, brother, I wasn't supposed to wrestle. Vince McMahon said, you're not going past the physical. And I said, I'll get it done. And I'm like, that's very convenient of you to tell that story because Vince McMahon is not going to be on this documentary to refute that. So he's like, yeah, I just went up to the medical guy and said, it's just part of the act. I got makeup on. I was like, yeah, I don't think a doctor, athletic director is going to fall for that. He knows that's a real injury. So,
yeah.
Fucking Hogan. Fuck him. Fuck him. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, though. Yeah, jet ski just barely grazed my eye. Don't think that's how it works.
No, that's not how that works, buddy. I'm sorry.
In 10 years, Sean, that jet ski is going to be like 6,000 pounds of jet ski, and it was about ready to be retired. It's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
he puts on 25 pounds every time Hogan tells the story.
That's right. Well, Andre the Giant was 2,000 pounds. I had to lift him, and no one ever lifted him before. And, well, he died very soon after. Well, about 6 years after. But, okay, Hogan, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Good call. Yeah. Good call. Jesus fucking. We had to reel him in on his hospital bed. No, you didn't, you fucking asshole. There's video of it. Piece of shit. I discovered Simon Cowell. Fuck off.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry. Right. Yeah, I agree with you though. Like, it was interesting to see how the 1990s behind the scenes video, and I thought it was interesting. The wrestlers were like, "Why the fuck are you filming behind the scenes? Like, what are we doing here?"
Yeah, because kayfabe was alive and well back then.
Yeah.
Like that was if you were a bad guy, you didn't ride with a good guy. If you were it was stuff like that. They if you walked into a restaurant and the guy you were fighting was in the same restaurant, you left.
Yeah.
It was shit like that. Nowadays it's yeah, we all know.
Well, Bret and Owen Hart didn't even sit next to each other on the planes, they said, and they would yell at each other on the planes, which I thought was awesome. Yeah, so it's on Netflix. It's a fun little documentary to check out.
Peacock.
Peacock. Sorry, that's right. Not Netflix, damn it. It will be on Netflix next year.
Yeah.
When they switch over, because it's happening. So, yeah. Anything else recent that you want to talk about? Or even in the past?
Well, I mean, I found it interesting the amount of backlash AEW got from their last pay-per-view with Moxley keeping the title.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was convinced Swerve was going to... And, it's, funny, because to me, you don't understand the storyline, if that's what you think.
Correct.
Because everybody that Moxley's fought has been out for their own personal glory.
Mm-hmm.
And Moxley has been talking about the entire time, this isn't about your own personal glory. It's about AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And until somebody actually says they're fighting for AEW, and the only guy who's done that was Darby.
Yeah, but does he come back enough? Does he come back soon enough?
I don't think so. And the only reason I say that, like, I originally thought he had already climbed Mount Everest. And I said on Twitter, because somebody asked, like, who's going to beat Moxley? I said, Darby's the wild card. And he goes into the Owen, and he wins the Owen to face Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said he hasn't climbed Everest yet. He's climbing it next week. And I'm like, oh, shit, I thought he did that already.
Damn it. So you figure, how long do you think he comes back after climbing Everest? I mean, and this is my dumbass. I know Everest, like I've watched enough movies about Everest. I couldn't tell you how long it takes to do it, though. Like,
I don't. Here's the thing. Like, so he's not going to be back for Double or Nothing, which is where he would have to be back now, and that's not going to happen, obviously. So, like, it becomes like, do you go back to Hangman as the main character?
Yeah,
and Hangman, wins the Owen and goes to All In to beat Moxley, because you could make it that Hangman is the soul of AEW. I can see where you could turn the story that way, but like, to me, it's always been Darby.
Yeah,
because Darby has a history with Moxley. I think they've wrestled twice.
Yeah, and Moxley has beaten him both times, right?
Right, and Tony Khan loves that storyline of overcoming the obstacle. He did it with Darby and Cody back in the day for the TNT title. So I could see like Darby, to me, has always been like the guy to beat Moxley, to overcome that obstacle, save the soul of AEW, whatever, however you want to put it. But his decision to climb Mount Everest, like right at the point where like he was the main character of the big storyline. Yeah. Like, it's like, fuck. You probably screwed yourself, buddy.
Do you think... So you got Hangman. My thought is Hangman's going to join up with Swerve, and then they're going to take on the Young Bucks. That's
my thinking, too. But then it becomes like, well, who... Like, Will Ospreay is not going to be the guy.
No.
As much as I love Will Ospreay. Like, again, he's doing it for his own personal glory.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Ospreay, in theory, would be the best one to take it off of him if it wasn't, he's trying to save AEW. Like you said, he doesn't care. So I don't think it's Ospreay's time to do it. I will say whoever does face Mox at the next, what is it, All In, you said, right?
Yeah, All In July.
Yeah. That ending to that main event better be good. And you can't rehash the same last pay-per-views of interference and then something crazy come on. Like, you got to have either Moxley win just by himself, or somebody's got to take that title from him. And I don't know who, like you said, I don't know who else would step in at this point. Omega? Kenny Omega?
That would be the one that makes the most sense to me. Yeah. Because he's one of the originals. He's Kenny Omega. I mean, that would, and he has that history with Moxley going back. They had that insane lights out death match.
Yes. With the fireworks.
Well, no.
No, that was the other one. That's right.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one where they had like the giant bed of barbed wire.
Yes.
But yeah, he also had the sparkler ring match.
Which
is sad, because that was actually a good match right up until the end.
Yes, it was. It was a very good match. I liked it. And Omega and Moxley put on good matches against each other. They have good chemistry.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their roster now. I mean, the only one, maybe Jericho. How about Jericho? Can he win it?
No.
No, Jericho. No. You know who would have been good in this spot? Ricky Starks. Just saying. So,
Ricky Starks would have been good in this spot. For sure.
God. I am happy that Edge did not win the title. I do think it was stupid how they had Christian come down and cash in. But I think at that point they needed to get that contract off of Christian, because it was just so long. And And personally, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if the idea originally was for Christian to win that title, but then once Moxley did the Death Riders and that, I think they had to adjust it, because now you can't do it that way. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, my one thought is, and I think it's way too early. I think his character needs to be revamped completely, is Yuta turning on Moxley and becoming AEW, but I don't think he's there yet. Or I don't even know if he's going to get there, but of anybody in the Death Riders, that's the only one I can see like having enough of his shit, because he always seems conflicted enough.
Wheeler Yuta is really, really good in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys that, like, I like watching him in the ring. The problem I have with Wheeler Yuta is the second he opens his mouth.
Yes.
He is if you want to, you have to give him a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they were smart. Like, they've kept Danny Garcia with Matt Menard.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Menard is an amazing, guy with the microphone.
Yes. Like,
anytime he cuts a promo, like he cut a promo last night after they got the shit beat out of him by FTR.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. Like, that guy, like, I would pay to watch him talk.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to find somebody, like, if you're gonna make it Wheeler Yuta, like, you'd have to put him back, like, with maybe you make like Chuck Taylor like a manager.
Yeah, I forgot about the Best Friends.
Yeah, like way back when.
Yeah.
You like make Chuck Taylor like his manager, and Chuck Taylor does the talking for him.
Yeah. It's tough, because I will say AEW has gotten a lot better in the last month or two. The storylines have gotten better. I know Mox gets a lot of hate, and I get it, because the Death Raiders started off as NWO, and then it just kind of seems like it's fizzled a little bit. But I think every other storyline on there is hitting well lately. I do think the Danny Garcia part of it, I think he's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. And I knew that you had to know Cole was going to take his title. Like, yeah, that was the point. But even Cole seems like he's falling off a little bit. And like I said, though, overall, AEW's product is probably better than it has been in 6 months right now.
No, I agree. Like, I mean, it seems like they're finding some traction.
Mm-hmm.
I always make the comment, like, I watch AEW, like, from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Both Collision and Dynamite. I watch WWE on YouTube.
Okay.
Because I'm not really all that interested in the matches, because the matches are never that great.
Correct.
But I want to watch all the promos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the story, WWE storylines, AEW is just random ass matches that are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, last night on Collision, they had AR Fox against that new guy, Chris Knight.
Yeah. Kenny Knight.
Match.
Kenny Knight.
Kenny Knight, yeah.
Yeah. Chris Knight's from the Brady Bunch. I don't think that's him.
Yeah. No.
But,
I mean, those guys were flying around the ring, put on a fantastic match.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, like, these two guys hate each other's guts or nothing. Like, it was, yeah, we're just going to throw these two guys out there and put on a banger. Which
I think we've talked about in the last couple ones that we did, which would make sense that AEW goes back to their rankings, right?
Yes.
Because then you can say, why are these two wrestling? Now, besides the competition, now you can say there's a reason for it. It's for the TBS champion or TNT or whatever it is. Like, you can say it's for a championship to move up at the rankings. Because otherwise, like you said, it's great to watch them wrestle, but there's no plot. There's no story behind it. This way you can say, hey, these guys are going after each other because they may like each other and respect each other, but they want to move up the rankings. And I think that's what they're missing. And I think they have to do a ranking system that's well done and keep at it and promote it. That's how you make it interesting.
Yeah, like and their tag teams, like, they've all of a sudden started pushing the Gates of Agony again.
Yeah.
Who, like those guys, I'm like, how are they not getting pushed?
Correct. Those guys are awesome.
They are. Like, there are a few others that they're kind of like starting to push again. It's like, man, you create like a top 10 ranking system,
mm-hmm.
and you make it work. Because I mean, like, I'm all for, like, because the problem becomes like I said, like, I watch AEW for the matches, and you can put on a random match, and I'm like, okay, that was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no storyline behind it, and even the characters have no storyline. Like you could at least like throw somebody out there, and you could say, well, this guy he's got a few going on with so and so, and he's hoping to get past that, and like you. But like even the wrestlers themselves, like they don't even have a storyline that they're involved in.
No.
But they're just like out there doing rando matches,
and
which that you could use to propel. Like, okay, well he's won 4 in a row. He's moved from 7 to 3 in the rankings.
Yeah, and you could even do that with the tag teams instead of doing top 10 if you don't want to. I mean, you could do a top 5, and then this team is winning, and they're finally bumping up on that top 5. Like they're getting close. If they can win another match, they might get into the top 5. Like. Make it mean something, because, like, I take it Knight won last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Knight wins. Great. What does that do for him? Nothing. Like, and if you're going to have the standings, like you're 6-0 this month, it's like, well, you got to make something, you got to make it matter. And like you said, it just, there's nothing there. I would watch I think the people would, I think the internet, even though they bitch about everything, I think the internet would back off a little bit, maybe, if you could have a reason for it, because we have AR, Fox, and Knight going up. Why are they going up? Well, they're going to put on a banger. Everybody knows that. Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. Well, now you have the rankings. The internet would be like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Poor AR Fox. He can't get a win. That poor guy. Jeez.
So. He hasn't been the same since that war with at the time, he was called Kill Shot. It wasn't Swerve.
Yeah.
Like they had that like Road to Hell or whatever that match was called.
Mm-hmm.
That was ridiculous.
And I'm kind of surprised that people, and I saw that online, like everybody thought Swerve was going to take the belt off Mox. And I was like, there's no way he's going to take that belt off him. Like, I love Swerve. I think he's hilarious. I think he's great. I think he shows character development. But like, that was not the story to put it. He was not going to win that title. No way. I'm just waiting for his manager to turn on him officially. So, good old Prince.
I can't imagine Prince Nana doing that.
I hope not, but it seems like they were leading towards that a few times.
I think they were, because I think they were talking about, it was like with that robe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there have been a few times where it's like, you are letting your personal grudges get in the way of what you want.
Yeah.
Like I never took it as like Prince Nana like trying to turn on him, more of like trying to get him focused in the right direction. That's
a good idea.
Like he had to, the war with Hangman went on for so long.
Yes.
And it was like this is not getting us anywhere.
No.
You should be going after the belt, not Hangman.
But man, that feud is so good.
It is. Like there's no, and like even like, what was it last week when they were yelling at each other and he's like, you burned my house down. Hangman's like, you deserved it. And he says, I know I did. And they're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we get into does Hangman have an arson trial coming up or anything like that about that house? Do we have something on that? I'm just asking.
From what I understand, he had a permit.
Oh, okay. That's good. The fire department was like, we need a test house in the area. Can you do something about that? Hangman's like, I got you the perfect house.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, like I even appreciate like at Christmas, like they did the whole thing with like instead of having the Christmas Yule log, it was just Hangman sitting in front of that house as it burned to the ground with whiskey.
I am happy that HBO Max is helping it, because they said that they're averaging a little bit over around 2 million viewers when you factor into Max people watching AEW. So that's good to hear, because everybody's like, oh, they only get 700,000 or 600,000 per per showing. It's like, yeah, but a lot of people watch on streaming now. Like, and so it's like, it is nice to hear AEW's doing really well with that end of it.
I always question, because none of these streaming services really release numbers. I know somebody said like, well, it's close. My question is, one, how much of that is in the U.S. and how much of that is international?
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, it's a great number, and if you're telling me, and I've always felt like the 600,000 they were getting before the Max deal, like before the streaming service kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always like, how much are they getting like with the live plus 3?
Yeah,
which is like live plus 3 days of DVR.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, how much does that bump that number up? Because I always feel like the people who watch wrestling don't have 9-to-5 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are ham and eggers who are working the evening shift or something, and go home after that and watch it on their DVR, or in this case, like watch it on the streaming. And so I've always felt like they were close to that million anyway. Like at least in the U.S.
Yeah. And that's one thing too, because
numbers don't count for some reason.
Or they don't release them. They don't ever release them. And that's the thing, like with me, I'm putting my kids to bed at night. We got baseball, we got softball, we got whatever. So a lot of the times is I turn it on at like 9:30 at night, and I see the last half hour, and then I go back and put it on like 2 days later. That's my thing. WWE, I've done that too. WWE I like, but 3-hour broadcast, it helps that I can fast forward a lot of it too. And that helps. Nia Jax is on, fast forward. Charlotte Flair and her ever-changing face. She's the chameleon from Spider-Man now. So I just fast forward that, unless Tiffany Stratton's giving her business. Which is the greatest thing ever.
That was the most awkward thing I've seen since the belt exchange between her and Becky.
And look at the common link. It's Charlotte.
Yeah, it's Charlotte, yeah.
That was funny, though. What are you, 0-3 on marriages?
I saw somewhere when Charlotte was like, well, that's why Kaiser's in my DMs. And, like, the internet exploded, like, and it was like, the meme I saw was, this man is the only man who's ever been found innocent of trying to slip into somebody's DMs.
Yeah, you can have Tiffany or Charlotte. Which one are you going with?
Yeah.
I think it's just, and we can get into it here when we start discussing WrestleMania, but I definitely think it's Charlotte is realizing that the game has passed her by, pun intended. I think the women in WWE right now have just surpassed her. And I think she's realizing that she's on the back end of her career. Not that she's 39, but her character has not changed at all. She can't be a face as many times as they try it. And when she's a heel, she's actually getting more X-Pac heel heat now than anything. At least in my opinion.
I mean, she has that odd thing of like, the entire time it's like, who is Charlotte Flair?
Mm-hmm.
And she's been Ric Flair's daughter.
Yep.
Like, and I say that in just, that's who the character has been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as much as people complain, like every time Cody brings up Dusty.
Yes.
Charlotte Flair has done nothing but rip off Rick's gimmick since day one.
Yeah. Yeah. And she denies it. She tries to deny it. And it's like, no, it really is.
You come out to the same fucking music.
Mm-hmm.
You do the whole robe thing. Like, you're wooing. The figure 8 is nothing more than a modified figure 4. Like, everything her presentation, everything is Ric Flair. The only thing she's not doing is talking about fucking her way around the world.
And she hasn't hit a moonsault in 16 years correctly. My God. Yeah. Fucking hit a moonsault. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for her to do the whole thing where, like, she gets, like, goes into the corner, flips over the turnbuckle, does the strut down the
apron,
down the rope, and then eats like a fist or a lariat.
And that's the thing. Like, you look at the original 4 horsewomen, right? You have Charlotte, who we've discussed. You got Bayley. Yeah. And Bayley is in an interesting place because I think she's kind of, you don't know what they're going to really do with her. I know she's going for the Is it the U.S.? No, not the U.S. The Intercontinental. Yeah. Which could be fun match, but like you're going through that stuff, and she's still kind of in limbo right now, but she still puts on entertaining promos. She can be a heel or a face without issues, and she's cocky enough in it, and you can tell like she's having fun with it.
But also, she is willing to put talent over.
Yes. Because the joke is that you can always tell if Charlotte's losing a match is because of how her face looks when she's walking down the aisle before the match.
Right. Like, Bayley will go down, she'll put on a banger, she will put you over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she'll lay on her back and look at the lights.
Yeah.
Like that's what Bayley is willing to do, especially at this point in her career, where the complaint about Charlotte was, that's not Charlotte. Charlotte is not doing a job, and neither was Becky Lynch.
Correct. And I like Becky Lynch a lot, but I think at the end it was kind of like, she's fine, she's serviceable. Like you can definitely tell not that they're going to retire because they can wrestle until they're 55. I mean, in all honesty, if they wanted to, but like you can definitely tell like the lights getting dimmer on their careers, like as top people. Who was the fourth one that they always had? Becky Lynch, Charlotte.
Well, Mercedes Moné.
Oh yeah, that's right, Sasha.
WWE.
Who's never going to lose an AEW again?
She is killing me.
Oh my god,
she's just killing me.
She's a good wrestler. And
she is. You put her in a ring, she's amazing. And I mean, I've even watched her have bangers down in CMML and in New Japan, and you're just like, she is good. But like, I'm just ready for her to lose the titles. Like, I'm tired of seeing her like walk around with the 4 titles and everything. And it's like when is she, like at some point? I know like apparently she has like creative control, so she's dropping probably a few. That doesn't work for me, brothers.
Yeah,
but like at some point, like you got to have her lose to Chris Statlander.
Oh my god, give it to Chris Statlander. I love her.
Like what's amazing is like the top of the AEW women's division is so fucking good. Because you've got Monet, who in the ring is very good. Like the only time Monet's ever interesting is when she's teamed up with Harley Cameron.
Yes.
But Harley Cameron's coming along and she's got huge star potential. You've got Chris Statlander. You've got Willow Nightingale. Timeless Tony Storm. As much as I hate the timeless gimmick, I can't deny she's great in the ring.
And she's popular.
Like that gimmick is over. Like I know I'm in the minority where I'm like, man, I hate this gimmick. But it's over. And then you've got Mariah May when she comes back.
Yeah.
And now you've got Megan Bayne,
who's done a phenomenal job in the short time she's there.
Like my concern was like, okay, she's going to go against Toni Storm. She's going to lose to Toni Storm, and then Tony Khan will lose interest in her.
Yes.
That's the Tony Khan. He gets a new toy. He puts them against the champ. Immediately, they lose, and then they become Deonna Purrazzo, who you never see again.
Saddest thing ever. Where is she?
Well, I mean, she's apparently studying to get her master's degree, so good for her. But, but still, like that was the one, like, I was like, man, Deonna Purrazzo, she is going to be amazing in this company, and, like, fumbled away.
Yeah.
So like, that was my concern, was like, okay, she's going to get the match against Toni Storm, and then TK will lose complete interest in her. And last night, he had her in a handicap match against two girls that she just absolutely destroyed.
Good.
And so I'm kind of hoping that she is, like, amazing.
Yeah, and like, I do think that it's going to be nice that I think, in theory, she could be the Brock Lesnar of the organization if they build her up right.
Yeah.
I think it does help that he's got more people in the background now. Tony Khan, he's got they just said Josh Matthews is back there now. There's rumors that they're getting Gail Kim. I think he's got enough people now that he's the final say, but I think he might be listening to more people back there. So hopefully that's why he may not be getting as bored with some of the new toys, is what my hope is. We'll see. Like I said, I think personally I would have Bane take the title off of Monet. I would have her do it, and I would have her squash Mercedes, and then that's Mercedes' redemption story, because she's always been confident. She's always kicked everybody's ass. She's never lost, really. This is it. And then Bane comes in and just destroys her. That would be my story, but that's just me.
So here's the thing, though. So you got Mercedes in the Owen tournament, and so like next week she faces Athena,
yes,
who is fantastic, Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, been that for like 800 and some odd days, hasn't lost a match in like 3 years, and you have Mercedes, who hasn't lost a match since she came to AEW. Like who do you put over? Well,
and that's the thing too. That should be a pay-per-view event, right? That should be a pay-per-view match. The only thing I can see is I could see a count out or a disqualification on one of them by somebody interfering. That way you can say, yeah, they lost, but they haven't been pinned in so many days. That way you can keep that around. And that's what I think is going to happen, that neither of them get pinned.
But the problem becomes now you lose a match at Double or Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, that's the semifinals, and the winner of that match would go to Double or Nothing for the finals of the Owen.
Yeah. Yeah. So more than likely, unless you have one of them winning it all, both of them are going to have some type of loss on their record.
Right. And then even if, so this, like, the theory is that Mercedes wins the whole thing and goes to fight Toni Storm. Like, are you putting the world title on Mercedes so she's a double champion?
Can she lift any more titles on her?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't think she needs to, but you can make the argument that Monet's been this champion for so long. Now she wants the world, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I think it devalues her title that she has now. What is that? The TBS? Yeah.
Yeah, the TBS title. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it kind of devalues that a little bit. Because I don't want her to win the world title and then just give up the TBS title and it's a tournament again, right? Because she needs to lose and put someone over for that TBS title. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure I will put. I think Athena is going to be the one that loses of all of them. I think she loses to Monet. Sorry, Ring of Honor. Supposedly they're getting new titles. Did you see that? They're revamping the titles. If only
I did see. Yeah.
If only they can get a TV deal now. Oh, sad. Okay, well, let's move into WrestleMania here, Sean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's.
So I did something different. I have our listings, and I also have the Vegas odds in front of us as well. So this way, maybe it influences us. So let me get a paper down here. I want to see how we do here. Okay. So WrestleManias. So here's my thing. I'm an idiot because I really thought April 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th was WrestleMania weekend. So, and I don't know why. I even had it in my iPhone calendar for my family, like, hey, I'm not doing anything that night, those 2 nights. And the SmackDown before that weekend, they're like, yeah, in a couple of weeks. I'm like, did I fuck up on WrestleMania? And then I was mad because I was like, shit, Sean and I didn't do this. Like, that was the other thing. I was like, damn it. Well, maybe we can do a post-WrestleMania. And then I started looking. I was like, I'm an idiot. It's in the end of April. And I'm just not used to that because this date is pretty far into April for a WrestleMania. You don't see that ever.
I thought it was odd, too, especially with it being Easter weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did tell I
thought maybe they were trying to piggyback the draft, maybe.
Yeah. I did tell my mom last night, I was like, we're coming for dinner on Easter, but I'll be honest, I have a 7 o'clock WrestleMania date. It's in the calendar. We're going to do that. She's like, what? Yeah. I was like, sorry. Jesus understands. He's fine.
I'll be there at 5. I'm out at 6.
You better have it ready to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So we'll start with we'll go in order of what they have here, because I know that they have some nights already playing, like some of the matches and that, but we'll just go down from what I have here on the Vegas thing. We have the Intercontinental Championship. We have Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker, who is the champion, and Finn Balor. Let's see here. Penta has Mysterio is the 63.6% favorite to win it all. Which surprises me because, they said Penta had Penta was at 60% and then they flip-flopped with Mysterio.
Wow.
Which, Mysterio winning could be a very honky-tonk man type reign, right? That could be fun.
Right. That could be, yeah. I could see where you could do that.
I'm really hoping Penta wins it, though.
I'm kind of like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, so if you take the Intercontinental title off of Braun Breaker, what do you do with him after that?
Jey Uso or Gunther?
Yeah.
I mean,
like you put him in position for the world title at that point. Like you use the Intercontinental title for what it used to be used for, was like, well, let's test this guy and see how good he would be as a champion before we make him the world champion.
Worked really well for Pat Patterson.
It did. Yeah.
He won in a tournament.
I've heard in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Rio de Janeiro.
That's
yeah. The Mecca of wrestling. I think that the one thought I had is Bronson Reed comes back and attacks Braun Breaker. I don't know if Reed's ready yet from his ankle injuries and that, but I could see that happening. My thought is Penta and Braun Breaker take each other out at WrestleMania. They're outside the ring. They go through a table. They go through a barricade. And then Finn's looking at them and Mysterio rolls up Finn. Because then you got the dissension amongst the Judgment Day.
Right.
Personally, I would have that happen if you're going to go with the Mysterio route, and then Mysterio unveils more people to the Judgment Day and just starts beating the shit out of Finn Balor. Because I think at this point, the Judgment Day is kind of run its course unless you start adding new people to it.
Yeah, it kind of has run its course.
And I'm fine if Liv Morgan's the leader of it. Let her bring people in. Because she's always been the one behind the scenes dictating stuff and playing Finn and Mysterio and all of them. So I'm fine if you have her bring people in. But you know what? I kind of have talked myself into it the last couple of days. Originally, I thought Baylor might have a shot at it because I would love to see him get some gold around him. But I think I'm going to go Mysterio for me.
Yeah, I think it's Mysterio. I think it's one of those situations where it's like, the way it would really work for me is like Braun hits Finn with a spear,
and
then like Penta drags Braun out of the ring, and Dominic kind of sneaks in and gets that pin.
That could be a good one.
Where he like just takes advantage of the fact that Finn is down, and so he gets the pin that way.
Yeah, I could see that.
You protect Braun, so he hasn't been pinned for the title.
Mm-hmm.
And you put Mysterio in that position where he was like, hey, I was just doing what was best for business. You can drag out that a little bit longer, I guess. And then before Finn finally either gets kicked out or explodes.
That's a good way of doing it too, because then on Monday night afterwards, you have Braun versus Mysterio for the title, and Finn Balor comes in and destroys Mysterio. Yeah. So he keeps the title, but Braun doesn't look weak in it because Braun can say, I never got pinned. I won a title match tonight. And like you said, Mysterio can say to Finn, his justification is, I kept in Judgment Day. I won a Judgment Day to get a title.
Right.
So I like that idea. So we're both going Mysterio on that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the odds makers have kind of talked me into that one.
Next we have the cool down match. It will be fine. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is a 91% chance of winning right now. I think he wins. I think he does.
I think it's Damian Priest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But only because it keeps it's going to keep with the storyline of like Drew screws Drew.
Yeah.
Because that's what their feud has basically been about. Is like, you know, when I was the world champion, every time we faced each other, you were so obsessed with CM Punk that it got in your way, and you know, now you know, like I could see where like Drew McIntyre takes the pin, and it furthers that storyline with him of being in his own way.
Yeah. I think personally, I think Priest winning would be bigger for him than McIntyre winning, right?
Yes.
I think it would really cement it. I could see Drew playing politics in the back because he's been pissed off, supposedly, according to internet rumors, he's been pissed off for a while. So, but it could just be because Drew's a cranky old man. Maybe that's it. But I could see Triple H giving Drew his WrestleMania moment, but I don't know if it really does anything for Drew. I'm going with it because I think the WWE gives it to him just because he's not winning a championship. He's not doing anything. He's been a great wrestler and character for the last 2 years. He's never had that big moment. I mean, you could say last year at WrestleMania was funny when CM Punk came out, but I think they give it to Drew just as a thing, but I think Priest would benefit better from it, in all honesty.
Like, the only thing I can see benefiting Drew with it would be putting him in position for the world title then. Like, you could say, okay, he gets this big win at WrestleMania over a former champion, and now he's going back to claim what's rightfully his, either if it's from Gunther or Jay. Yeah.
And we'll get to that story in a second because I want to talk to you about that one. Okay, so I got that down. You got Priest, I got Drew. I'm just going in order of what they list here. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. What do you think?
Cena. That's Cena.
I do too. I think he has to win. The storyline's more interesting.
Well, because what it does, like my theory has always been, okay, he beats Cody at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That takes us into the summer of Cena.
Yep.
Where he is just a terrorist.
Yeah.
With the world title, constantly like threatening just to walk away with it. And the WWE, like, you're under contract for, you have to come back. And that takes you to SummerSlam, where he loses it back to Cody.
Okay.
And then you have the winter of the redemption of John Cena.
I think that's the good play. Like, that's the smart play. The issue I have is, ever since he turned on on Rhodes, and not that you need it, but like The Rock has not been involved. Like with Cena, you could have done like Rock and Cena starting their own NWO, and I don't mean that you need to have it go on forever, but I just feel like they've dropped the ball on that, and that part of that is probably The Rock. Like, I get that, but like, it was such a big deal. Like, oh my God, Cena and The Rock, and then that fucking rapper who smacked the shit out of Rhodes. Like, this is your new NWO. And then it's like, it's just going to be Cena by himself now. And it's like, from a storyline, it's like, okay, I get it because Cena thinks he's the best of them all and he deserves this. This is his, But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of wanted to see more of that. Because I think the redemption is that The Rock eventually turns on Cena, right? At SummerSlam after he loses the title.
Right.
But you don't have you don't have The Rock in there enough. So it's like, does Rock show up at WrestleMania? But that's great. But if he does, he's going to have, I think the storyline is he's got to be with Cena for a long time, or at least through SummerSlam for it to mean anything. Because someone has to turn on Cena to make Cena see the light. Right.
Right. And it's that weird thing too, of like the build for this match has been like it's been Cody kind of trying to sell this the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Cena's shown up 3 times. since the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And it's a very tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the normal build. You know what I mean? Like he cut that promo in Chicago where he had all the titles out on SmackDown, and it was a good promo, but it was just like it needed John Cena.
Yes.
You know, I understand. I guess he's filming in Budapest or some shit, and you know, it was easier for him to get over from get in when they were in Europe, which is probably why they did the massive tour they did over there.
Yeah, to build it up for him, just for convenience.
Yeah, but it does become because he can even disappear. Like after WrestleMania, he could disappear again.
Yeah, and then on the title.
Yeah, I think he's only contracted for 30 total dates.
Okay,
for this final run, and so he could disappear for 3 weeks with the title. You don't even see him,
and you could
have Nick Aldis is I've been on the phone with John Cena's people. He says he's not coming back. He doesn't have to. He's under contract. You could do all sorts of stuff around his part-timerness.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the big problem, the build to WrestleMania, the biggest moment, has been lackluster because you've asked one guy to carry the load.
Yeah. And, it is kind of fun because with Cena, he basically has become what he hated was Brock Lesnar, right? Part-timer champion, which plays into the long-term storyline pretty fun. Hey, you basically become what you hated. You're not here. But short-term, it sucks because the builds are not good for WrestleMania for it.
Right.
He has 68% chance of winning. For it.
Yeah, I think that's a 100%er.
Also, just let everybody know for Vegas, you can actually bet on WrestleMania and wrestling, but I think the most you can bet is $50 is what the limit is. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the match that I want to see the most. It's Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. And this I think closes night one out.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Punk has a 75% chance of winning. I was like, holy crap. My thought is I could see Punk winning, and I think the long-term storyline is Reigns and Rollins team up again, right? Eventually.
Well, I heard friend of the show, Bubba Ray Dudley, talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he says the thing that makes the most sense is Seth wins and walks out with Paul Heyman.
That would be fun. And basically, Heyman turns on both Punk and Reigns.
Right.
I like that.
Like they were saying, Seth is in the position like Roman was a few years ago, where he was kind of floundering a little bit, and Paul comes in and kind of straightens him up and gets him going in the right direction. Seth could use that Paul Heyman rub.
And I know Rollins gets hate sometimes online. I like Seth Rollins. I really do. I feel like his character is like the Joker reincarnated. And I know that's been compared sometimes like him, but he really is. He's kind of crazy, but he has a method to his madness. And he's tough to take seriously sometimes, but when he needs to go to get dangerous, he can be. He can be a backstabber like no other.
Yeah, I've always liked Seth too. I could do without the goofy clothes, but I get that's part of the whole gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. He is that incarnation of chaos.
Yes.
And I've always kind of liked that about him because you never quite know what he's going to do.
He can set fire to millions of dollars and he wouldn't care, like the Joker did in Batman.
Yeah.
Are you going with Rollins? You think?
I am. Old Bubba Ray Dudley kind of convinced me because I didn't know who to go with this match. It was that thing of do you give CM Punk that moment in the sun?
I think his moment in the sun is headlining a WrestleMania night.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And also, like Punk has lost a lot, which is surprising.
Yes.
Which made me think, okay, well, he wins this match, and you finish with like, the ticker tape coming down, and he's pointing, and whatever. But Seth Rollins winning and walking out with Paul Heyman, that would just create chaos. And I kind of like the thought of like the WWE being in a little bit of chaos.
I agree. So Punk winning, you make a good point. Like you have the confetti coming down right at the end, but it doesn't do anything. There's no title he won. It's basically he wins a main event. Yippee yay. There's no title on the line. Reigns winning, more of the same, not much. Like I could see Reigns winning and then hugging Heyman, they're back together again, right? There's no dispute. Okay, fine. That's the safe way to do it. I think you convinced me with Rollins, like that's the best way to do it, because then you can go, what the fuck is going to happen? What happens tomorrow night? Is there some other plan? And so then you get Rollins with Heyman. Good job, Bubba Ray. Good job, Sean. Okay, I'm going with Rollins now. Originally I had Punk, and then Punk and Heyman walking away, but now I think the Rollins thing, it makes more sense. I'm looking forward to that match. I love a good triple threat, and I think these three could put on a good one.
I think it would be a good triple threat match, and I also think this has been the only real match that's been really built up well.
I'm going to disagree. The next match, Jey Uso versus Gunther. I actually like when Gunther destroyed Jimmy Uso in front of Jey. I think up until that point, it was kind of whatever. But then that kind of put some fire on it. I like that. Do you think Jey walks away winning?
I think so, yeah.
He's 86% likely he's going to win, which is really high.
Like, I feel bad for Jey Uso.
Why is that?
And Gunther. Because it was like, so you win the Royal Rumble, and that's supposed to, like, you main event WrestleMania. And now you're probably going on, like, 5th.
They're going on before the Rollins match, they said.
Okay.
Or
it's a double main event.
Yeah, they're going to do it that way.
It should be like the world, like either the world titles or the women's world titles should be closing out a night of WrestleMania.
Yes.
Like, I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it's that thing of like that 3-way match like means nothing. It's a personal vendetta between 3 men.
Yeah.
And it's been built up very well, and it's going to be a phenomenal match. But it should be Jey Uso's moment in the sun. You know, Gunther, and I don't care for either of these guys that much. Like Jey Uso is like his matches are like super kick, super kick, super kick, and I'm coming off the top rope.
Yeah.
And Gunther's matches are chop, chop, forearm to the head, chop, chop, headlock, chop, chop, some more.
Powerbomb.
Yeah, powerbomb. Like Gunther reminds me of just a German version of Ishii.
I gotcha. That's a good comparison.
Like, it is, because I mean that's all he's, and I'm not saying that's a bad style of wrestling. It's just it gets monotonous after a while.
Yeah, and I don't mind Jey Uso. I really don't. I couldn't tell you one memorable match he has. Right? So, I'm sorry, one memorable solo match that he's had.
Yeah.
Tag team, great. And so that's, I think, he's a kind of like what they say about Cody. He's a 3-star wrestler. Not bad, not great. You know, he's like the Ty Detmer of wrestling. you know what you're going to get. He's not going to lose you a championship, and he's not going to win you one either. So I think Jey Uso, I think they've built him up so much, and he keeps losing, right? I think he has to win this.
Right.
One, either if he doesn't, Rikishi's going to go off online on it, which is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Why isn't my son champion? Okay, calm down, Rikishi. You put your ass in people's face. Calm down. And so I think Uso does win personally, because I don't think they can not have one of the visuals of WrestleMania is 100,000 people yeeting, right? They're going to, after he wins the title, that's going to be the scene. That's going to be what they're going to play for the next 10 years. I think Gunther winning is a better story in terms of future competition. I think, like we talked about, Braun Breaker could take him down. I think that could be fun. I don't know if Breaker's ready for the title yet, but I think it could be a fun match between those two. I think there's more possibilities with Gunther winning and his future competition than Jey Uso. Because who does Uso face? I guess Braun Breaker again, too. And he has to beat Breaker here. But you can't have Uso win and lose it within 3 weeks.
Or you have Jey, like I said, if you go back to the Priest-McIntyre match, if you have McIntyre win that match,
yeah,
then you position him to be like the feud for Jey Uso.
But then the problem is you can't have McIntyre lose, right? Because he loses so many big matches for the title. That's the issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would tarnish him again, and then he'll walk out.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think you're right. I think the idea is Jey Uso wins, McIntyre goes for him. That's your first feud.
You also have, like, the Seth Paul Heyman angle that you can now have Seth going after. Now it's time to get my title back.
Hell, you could even have Jimmy Uso go after him and say, "Hey, you left me to die in the ring with Gunther. This is on you."
Yeah.
Not right away, but like down the road.
But I do not want to see that match again, because that was the worst match. One of the worst matches I've ever watched was.
Oh my God!
Last year at WrestleMania.
That was so bad, so bad.
It was,
and it never ended. It just kept going.
It just kept going and going. I'm like, oh, another super kick.
wait,
another super kick.
Super kick.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Right,
I never. How could two brothers have zero chemistry? But they had zero chemistry.
It was horrible, and I was looking forward to that because that was their goal, was always to wrestle each other at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So who are you picking in this one?
I'm going with Jey, just because I feel like that's the move.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can even have Gunther coming back after him for the title. Like there are a number of possibilities. Drew, possibly Seth,
Kaiser,
Gunther.
even you could have Kaiser.
Yeah, because he's been making his own little moves, and plus he's in Charlotte's DMs.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm always on the lookout for Mrs. X Charlotte.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like there are a number of possibilities that you could give Jey. But I think the problem becomes how long do you let him keep that title?
Summer, June, July. I think it's got to be a short reign.
Yeah.
I mean, give him his moment in the sun and be good. Get Rikishi off your back. And,
yeah.
Here's the one I like too. I like this one. It's Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, who is the champion, the women's world champion.
Yeah.
Versus Rhea Ripley. Bianca is a 51% chance of winning, is what the odds are right now.
Okay. I'm Sky.
You're picking Sky?
Yeah.
You know what? This is not a great pre WrestleMania because I'm picking Sky as well. Damn it! We've agreed on everything except the Priest and Drew match, which doesn't matter.
No. I feel like I think it's Io Sky for a number of reasons, and you're probably going to agree with me. One is just the way the storyline has been, that she's been the one that's been disrespected. It's all about Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, and it's like no, and I mean Io Sky is the assassin of the skies. Like that's it's like talk to Penta. Let Penta tell you about Io Sky. But I feel like that's just the way the storyline has been set up. Is like she's being disrespected, and it's time for her to kind of even though this is her second time with a championship, prop her up and show her that she's truly the big time player that she that she is. Also, I feel like people are getting a little tired of Bianca and Rhea Ripley a little bit.
And I think Bianca doesn't win. I'm kind of surprised that she's a favorite because I actually think when you look at it, she should be going into the feud with Jade and Naomi.
Yeah.
With it. That would be my thought, is that that would be her thing.
That was the most surprising thing is when she won the Elimination Chamber. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. All
that going on, you gave it to her?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with you. I think Sky is the one that they prompt up. I think they have to because she's a great wrestler and they haven't really done as much with her as they could. And I think she gets her moment at WrestleMania with it. I really do. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Like I think she is so good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like she makes an effort to like speak English.
Yes.
You know, like she's trying to transition. She's trying very hard to be like somebody the WWE can count on to do things with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they were like just the way the storyline is, it's got to be that she wins.
It can't be Ripley. And I like Ripley, but she doesn't need another title reign. She really doesn't. Yeah, of course, I don't know where Ripley goes after this, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure who her feud is.
But you can put her in a feud with anybody.
You can.
Like, I mean, she's at a point where, like, she does not need the title to be over. Like, the fans are going to cheer her no matter what. Because she is, she's just a hot Aussie girl.
Mm-hmm.
Off makeup. Like,
yes.
Oh my God. Like, that's her gimmick. So I feel like she doesn't need the title. You can put her in a feud with anybody. Where like Io Sky, even Bianca doesn't need the title, and you're right. Like at some point she has to get involved in the Jade Naomi thing.
And I think the thing with Jade and Naomi, I think Bianca has to side with Naomi because I think your money match is Jade versus Bianca down the line.
Yeah. Yeah, just power versus power.
Yeah.
But like Io, like I don't want to say she needs the title, but she needs the win.
She needs the WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Last year she fought Bayley, right? Bayley. Yeah.
Bayley won.
Yeah. So it makes sense to give it to just for Io to get the win and have her moment in the sun.
Yeah. Speak of moments in the sun. We have the Chameleon, Charlotte Flair, aka Darkman, versus Tiffany Stratton, the new Charlotte Flair, but with talent. Sorry, I just fucking can't stand Charlotte. For the title. Charlotte Flair is 58% chance of winning. I would agree with that up until 2 weeks ago when they had that destruction of an interview. And I think they switch and I think they give it to Stratton to win.
I've always thought, like, unless Charlotte pulled it, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I've always thought this is how you put Tiffy over.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, I think so too. Like I can't see Tiffany losing. And I think more importantly, like I think it for like those people that they're signing like on NIL deals and the WWE ID and stuff like that. Like she's like really the first like to come out of that and have popularity. Like she wasn't like I don't think if you asked her she would tell you like my goal was to be a professional wrestler.
So what's the chance of Charlotte Flair sandbagging the match?
Well, that may be high. I don't see this being a good match, but it's not going to be because of Tiffany. It's going to be because of Charlotte.
I see it being 10 minutes because they don't want it to screw up.
Yeah.
I could see it being short. I think Flair walking to the ring is going to take longer than the match.
Yeah.
But how great would it be if she comes in, Flair comes in, and Tiffy like spin kicks her, does a move, and pins her right away? That would be hilarious.
It's that prettiest moonsault ever.
Yes.
Christopher Daniels gotta be like, I can't believe she does that as good as I do.
Yeah. Tiffy time is awesome. I love Tiffany Stratton. I loved her in NXT. I'm impressed with her. Like when they first did the promos of like her on the tennis court in NXT, I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But she's done a really good job. So yeah. What's that?
For somebody who's been in such a short period of time, she is very impressive.
Yes.
Like she knows, like I feel like I know we mock her, but the time she spent with Nia Jax was probably very valuable.
Yes.
As bad as Nia Jax is in the ring, Nia knows how to work a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
She knows like timing as far as like when stuff needs to take place, but she's just a clumsy oaf.
Yeah, and I will say, as much as I dislike Nia Jax, I do think she's gotten better than she was. Yeah. I think her time away has helped.
Yes.
I still can't stand her matches because they're boring. She's a great heel magnet. I like that she gets booed no matter what.
Right.
But I think wrestling-wise, she's gotten better, but I still have no interest in her matches. I say let her wrestle Charlotte and see what happens. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a moonsault on Charlotte's face. She's going in for her 18th plastic surgery.
Watching Mania will be going nuts.
Oh my God. So we both got Tiffany on that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. LA Knight defending his U.S. title versus Jacob Fatu. Who wins?
Jacob Fatu.
He's 88% likely. I'm going LA Knight.
Are you?
And I'm telling you, I'm saying it because I think Solo interferes and costs Jacob Fatu the title.
But isn't Solo going to be busy now? He's going to have the match against Randy Orton.
Do you think that's where it's going?
I think so. Yeah.
I still think that. I think Solo interferes is enough, and that's how Jacob Fatu turns and gets a new takes over the bloodline.
Well, I feel like he wins the title,
and
Solo loses to Randy Orton, and now Solo is like finished, and Jacob Fatu is now the top dog.
Yeah,
and Solo being diminished, now he's plotting to get back his spot.
And you could have, even on SmackDown that week, Jacob Fatu and the new bloodline destroy Solo. Yeah. Or
not, or you stretch this out over the summer, and then they have their match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
For the U.S. title.
And you could also do the long game and do Jacob Fatu on SmackDown after WrestleMania, brings in somebody new to the bloodline, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
Solo's like, you didn't clear this with me. And he's like, I don't think I need to. And then you slowly do the burn on it.
Right.
But let's be real. Like, Jacob Fatu should win the title. I'm very confident he's going to. But for my Booker self, I'm going to do LA Knight because I think Solo can fuck it up. But I think Fatu wins it. I think he does. And man, talk about LA Knight, man. That guy 2 years ago, he should have been the main event for the title, and now he's just kind of lost at the wayside. And I like LA Knight. I think he's over. I think he's another version of Jey Uso, though. Like, people love him, but
I think he's better in the ring than Jey Uso.
He is.
But I think the problem with LA Knight is he has never had the confidence of Triple H.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's old. Triple H has always thought, and I've heard Kevin Nash talk about this, but it's like, you're how long does the gimmick work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great that they go LA Knight, but how long does that work for you before it peters out? And I don't think he's lost it with the fans, but I don't think he's ever had the confidence of the office to get, like, he'll always be this guy.
Yeah.
Like 6 months from now, he may be wrestling for the U.S. title or the Intercontinental. He'll always be a mid-card guy.
I equate him to, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, I equate him to a Mr. Perfect, that type of level. Like, he could get to the main event, but they're not going to. Like, he's believable enough, but he's never going to get his chance at it, right? And he may what's that?
He's like 43 now, right?
Yeah, he's older. He's in tremendous shape.
Oh, he is. Like, I mean, he's phenomenal. Like, I mean, but it's that thing of like, do you thrust a guy like that into the spotlight and make him your world champion?
Mm-hmm. I think there's too many other options at this point.
Right. He's a mid-card guy. He'll always be a mid-card guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Because I like him a lot.
I do too.
But it's that thing of like, if he had gotten to the big dance 10 years earlier,
he could have been the face of the company 10 years ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And like I said, I always equate like these guys, like I always take a look at these guys and go, okay, and just because I grew up during that time and that, I always look at the guys now and then think of what they would be like back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. Like, okay, who does this remind me of? Like their station in the company, right? And that's what, like Cody Rhodes, to be honest, reminds me of Macho Man, his stance. Not his personality, but like, He's the guy, but is he really the man? Like, they love him, and they put him up there, but he's not like the Hulk Hogan. He's just right below that tier, I think. And I think the WWE has done a tremendous job with him, with Cody Rhodes. What's that?
He's Triple H.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
He's never the guy. He was the guy that fought the guy.
Yeah, I could see that.
He got title runs. Like, you could talk about like Triple H. Like, if you look at, he was at best number 3, number 4, maybe 5. Like you look at like who. Like, I mean, it's tough. It's tough with Triple H because you look at him and you say, well, you were in the same era as Steve Austin and The Rock and The Undertaker.
Yep. And
so
you can even put Mankind up there too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, so 5. Like,
yeah.
Like, he was always in the title mix. He there were times where he had the belt. Later on, he became a bit of a monster because, he was Vince's son-in-law. But like at his peak, you're cursed with being in there at the same time as 3 other guys who were just as good or better than you. And so you're never going to be the man.
Correct.
You're going to be the guy who fights the man.
I was, speaking of Triple H, I was watching the Rumble a couple days ago. I had it on the background when I was working from home, and it was the Triple H Scott Steiner match from the Rumble. I forgot how bad that was. Scott Steiner, belly back suplex, belly back, belly back, belly to back. And I forgot how quick the crowd turned on him. Oh my God, that was awful.
What's amazing is like you go back like in WrestleMania 9 when he was tag teaming with his brother. Dude was an innovator. He was amazing. And then when he became Big Papa Pump, he was like a 3-move set guy.
Yes. And it was like in slow motion 3 moves.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how. And I forgot it. And then a DQ. I'm like, oh my God, they had a rematch the next month. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, that should not happen. Anyways, I digress. The next match that nobody, I mean, I guess we care. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Or AJ. I love you, AJ. You're going to.
The problem with this match is it's going to be good.
It is going to be good.
Like, I hate Logan Paul.
Yep.
Like, I was at this convenience store and I was like, well, I should try some of that Prime. And I'm like, no, 'cause it's owned by the Paul brothers. I can't do that.
Yep.
Like, I can't give them my money.
Nope.
But that said, like Logan Paul, when you put him in the ring with somebody like that, like AJ Styles, he'll have a phenomenal match.
They will.
He'll do something absolutely ridiculous. And he's probably going to win because he's Logan Paul, and he probably has that in his contract or some shit. But
and AJ is kind of like Bailey. He'll put over anybody.
Right. Like, I mean, at this point, I wish they would just allow AJ to go back to TNA and finish his career where it started.
I would be fine with that, to be honest. Just let him go. Yeah. So we both got Paul on this one.
Yeah, I got Logan Paul winning it, but it might be whatever night it's on. It might be the match that steals the show.
It could be, and I hate Logan Paul too. Like, I can't despise him, but he puts on a hell of a wrestling match. I mean, he really does.
Like, I hate saying it about the guy because he's such a jag-off.
Mm-hmm.
But like when he's in, like you watch because he's that good.
He's a 71% favorite.
Yeah.
So. And I don't know if I said it. Fatu was 88% favorite. Let's see. Then we have Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Jade is an 88% favorite as well. I actually think I might go with Naomi on this one. I think Bailey or Bianca comes down and interferes. I'm going with the upset. What's that?
I hate to say this, but I'm with you with that.
Jesus. Sorry, everybody.
It is that thing of like, this is the start of the feud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you can't have Jade just come in and destroy Naomi. It's like, maybe you have her like destroy Naomi, and like you said, Bianca interferes and Naomi gets the win.
Yeah,
but this is the start of this feud, and I think these three women, like, it's going to be a bizarre love triangle that takes you through the summer.
I mean, I would be down for that. Oh, sorry. I will say, this is my booker man here, even though I have no experience in booking, but just 40 years of wrestling watching. I'm going to say referee gets knocked out. Naomi's got the chair to use on Jade. Bianca comes down, steals the chair from Naomi. All the fans love it, and then Bianca hits Jade with the chair. That's what I'm saying.
That little chestnut that FTR pulled.
Yep. I would say it's a tried and true heel turn, but I think it works. Works.
I can see that.
And you got to have somebody turn heel because it's the tradition of WrestleMania. Somebody always turns face or heel. Andre the Giant turned face. Rick Martel walked out of Tito Santana, you bastard, against the Brainbusters. You got to go back, and every single time there's always some type of change, like heel or face change, usually at WrestleMania. And I think that's this one.
Yeah.
And I'm fine. I think Bianca needs it, to be honest with you. And then the last one that's listed, let's see here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Jesus. Rey Mysterio versus El Americano Grande, which is Chad Gable. Mysterio's an 83% chance of winning.
Can I abstain?
It would have been a good match. LWO versus the whatever Gable's American Pride.
The American Made.
Yeah, American Made. That would have been a better match. 6-man match. Just do that. I don't understand this. And I like Chad Gable. I really do. But this is not great. Too.
No, this whole thing is kind of wackadoo.
It reminds me of Owen Hart becoming the Blue Blazer again. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like when he was
just not needed. Like you could have done this so much better.
Yeah.
Like you say, you sent Chad. Chad Gable went to Mexico, and he learned lucha libre and in the the basements of Tijuana or something. You know, like you could have done something much better than putting a mask on him.
And I don't have an issue. Like you said, he learns Lucha Libre down there, right? And he does come back and he puts a badass mask on, right? I don't have an issue with that. Like, that's a different personality. But the way they're doing it for comedy, and it's not funny. Like, it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, Chad Gable deserves better than this. And Chad, God bless him, Shorty G, he makes, you know, lemons out, he turns lemonade from lemons all the time. But, like this is... I'll be honest, every time this is on, I fast forward it. One, I'm actually kind of bored of Rey Mysterio right now. I just don't care about her. And I was never a huge fan. Like, wrestling-wise, he's amazing, right? And was amazing WCW. But, like, I just don't care enough about him. Like, when he had his title run or when he was in the Rumbles, it's like, I just don't care. Which is sad because I like Chad Gable, and I think they could put on a banger of a match. But I think Chad's going to lose in a stupid, stupid way is my issue.
Yeah.
So are we both agreeing on this one too?
Yeah. I guess Mysterio, and I mean, and you start to wonder, like, how many more of these does Ray have in him?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be coming up on the end of it, right?
I know his birth certificate says he's 24, but like,
to be fair, he did pitch in the Little League World Series and did a perfect game too.
Exactly, yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm like how much does he have left in the tank to like keep going? And like, unfortunately, this whole LWO thing kind of like went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like, if anything, it's holding back, like, Zelina Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and I love Vega.
I mean, she should be in the mix with, like, the women's stuff, and she's kind of, like, not, for whatever. You know,
yeah.
Like, other than, like, a couple years ago when they did the show in Puerto Rico,
mm-hmm.
like, after that, she just kind of, like, went away.
Do you think it's because she's so tiny?
No. Because, like, Alexa Bliss is tiny.
Yeah. I mean, when Vega's right next to Rhea Ripley, you're just like, holy crap. Now, it also, I guess you can make the argument, too, Rey Mysterio is tiny, too. And he's always put up a fight.
But, like, I always feel like there are women who, like, Rhea Ripley, like Bianca Belair, like Chris Statlander or Megan Bain, who are just... they are going to tower over their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter who it is, that's the storyline. Is like, you know, this person is so fucking big and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like putting like an AJ Styles against a Brock Lesnar. Like, you know, AJ's a big guy, but he's not that fucking big.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking here.
I don't think his size has anything to do with it. I think it's just that she's kind of gotten entangled in this group, and since the group doesn't work, she doesn't work.
She's one of my daughter's favorite wrestlers. She loves Vega.
And she's very good in the ring. She's a good talker, and like, you know, maybe when old Aleister Black comes back, she can.
That would be cool, and have her go like really dark and mysterious.
Yeah,
I like that. Does he appear? You think at WrestleMania? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any matches that he could appear at.
The only other possibility I thought would have been the Randy Orton match,
which we don't know is yet what it is, right?
Right. Like, I mean, they did the whole thing with Solo coming down and talk, you know, because everybody thought he was going to fight Nick Aldis, which would have been an amazing match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that honestly would have been like, and to see Nick Aldis in a WWE ring as a wrestler,
yeah,
I would feel so good for him.
Yes.
You know, but then the Solo thing happened on SmackDown, and I'm like, oh, is he going to fight Solo?
Nobody wants that. Nobody.
Well, it's not that nobody wants it. It's just, it's like, I get it. Like, you had this great build with him and Kevin Owens, and I feel awful for Kevin Owens for having to step away, and and you hope he gets better. But like, it's now Randy's kind of stuck, and now you're like the Nick Aldis thing at least makes sense because you're like, well, he RKO'd him, and like they had that great standoff before Solo came down and stuck his nose in it. And it's like, if you do it with Solo, like there's no build to it. You just like, it's a rando match essentially.
I was hoping Sami Zayn will have come down and attacked Orton and said, "You injured my friend Kevin Owens, even though we have issues." Yeah. And that would have been your build. That would have been a fun match. And then you have crazy Sami go nuts on him.
I mean, the fact that Sami Zayn doesn't have a match at WrestleMania is shocking.
Yeah. We do have 2 other matches here. War Raiders versus New Day for the championship. I guess New Day? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a push.
Because here's the thing. Like, so they did their big heel turn, and nothing has happened since then.
No. You don't respect us.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, like, if you put the belts on them, now you can give them, like,
yeah.
The WWE tag team scene is just so fucking bad.
Well, I'll get to that in 1 second. I'll get to that after the next match, too. So this is how our excitement is for it. We're both like, yeah, New Day, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra for the tag team championship.
The champs retain.
I'm going Bayley and Lyra just to be different, and I think I could see them putting a rocket to Lyra. And yeah, she's the U.S. Intercontinental Champion, but you can put her as a double champ now. And I'll be honest, you could have talked me into the other way too. It really doesn't matter. But I like Bayley. I like Lyra, so I'll go with that.
I feel like if we put the Intercontinental title on Dirty Dom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
The tag titles on Liv and Rodriguez.
Yeah. And then you can say to Finn, you're failing. Carlito doesn't matter. He's the mascot. Like, Finn, you're bailing. You're failing at this.
Right.
Oh, I like that one. Unfortunately, I'm going to keep my Bayley and Lyra. Why? Because I want some different set of opinions. So literally, our WrestleMania card goes down to Priest versus Drew, Knight versus Fatu, and Morgan Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that is part of the problem with WrestleMania is it is because it's the end of the stories and the beginning of the new ones, it kind of becomes predictable.
It does.
Like unlike any other card the rest of the year, like this is probably the most predictable just because it's like this is the finale. This is the season's finale for the year.
So here's the card. They did announce it. Night 1 is Jade versus Naomi, War Raiders versus New Day, Mysterio versus Americano, Knight versus Fatu, Stratton versus Flair, Gunther versus Uso, and the triple main event. That's the order that they're going in. Night 2 is the Women's Tag Team Championship, Damian versus Drew, then the Intercontinental Championship, AJ versus Logan, and then the Women's Triple Threat, and then the Cody Rhodes, John Cena. And I'm guessing, like you said, Orton gets added to it one of those nights. And my hope is the Tag Team Championship becomes the SmackDown one becomes a 5-team ladder match or something. Because they keep putting all these guys into it. I think you almost have to. Or I'm hoping.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute now.
Okay.
Andre the Giant Battle Royal is set for next week's SmackDown before WrestleMania.
That's kind of traditional at this point.
Yeah. And the rumor is Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits. for next week's SmackDown. I would really like for them.
That'll be a banger of a match.
Yeah. The rumor is that the one rumor is that's a ladder match at WrestleMania, and the Hardys are involved against the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, and then the DIY in that. That would be interesting and pretty deadly. That would be fun. I'm down with it. That would be
fun, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, is it necessary?
I think they're trying to get everybody on there, right?
Right.
Personally, I would have that as your main event of SmackDown the night before.
Yeah.
Like, have the Battle Royal and then have that as your main event, because that would be impressive. And you can watch Jeff Hardy die.
Yeah. Really.
So yeah. Well, there's your WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm excited for it because I love WrestleMania. I love all of it. I love the 35-minute entrances, and all that stuff. But it is just a fun event. Like, it's I like WrestleMania and Survivor Series back when they had the Survivor Series elimination matches more than WrestleMania. But I do like WrestleMania just because it's a fun event and it has so much history in it for it. I did look at getting tickets for what Indy has one. What did they have?
I think the next one they have is SummerSlam next year.
Yeah. I looked at the last one and it was just ungodly.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. And they're like, oh, it's the biggest gate WrestleMania to have. Well, yeah, when your tickets are $400 a piece, of course it is. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to get $25 seats like at the Caesars like they talked about.
That has been one of the big problems like people have talked about is like WWE, especially with the bigger events, is pricing the regular person out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even for cheap seats, it's like ridiculous.
I looked at Raw when it came to Cincinnati a couple weeks ago for my daughter and I, and it was like even the nosebleeds were like $150 each.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not paying $150 for Raw.
No.
And then you got taxes and fees, so it's probably like $800.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to print out the tickets. You're not printing them out digital. Still counts. That's $87. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because we talk about the two companies, the two major companies, and like WWE's at a point where like they are outrageously priced.
Yeah.
They're filling arenas and they're filling stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
And AEW is like struggling to fill 3,000 seat theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, because when they came to Cincinnati, it was it was a Brady Center, which is a very small arena, and it looked great on TV. It really did with the rows and that.
I have liked that they've gone to the smaller venues.
I do too,
for two reasons. One, it looks better, but also like those theaters and stuff that they're going to have created some very interesting camera angles.
Yes, yeah, it's very ECW type arenas, which is very cool. I agree with you. I think it looks better on TV. I think it doesn't look as empty. And I think the sound is better too.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they came, I think their cheapest was $70. I think I found. Which isn't horrible, but my daughter is not an AEW fan. She likes the women's in it, but she's just not the men. She's not interested in. She likes WWE better, which I get, and it's less brutal.
Right.
I mean, it's more family friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Sean, I appreciate it. This is I think we have a blast with this. Or at least I do. I can't speak for you.
I do too. Yeah. I mean, out of respect for your son, whose birthday it is today, you're going to a brunch.
Yes.
I did have an entire hour of material about the Playboy Gary Hart, and but I've chosen to keep that for SummerSlam.
We've pushed it back to lunch now. Because I told my wife, I was like, I'm fucking having tech issues. I was like, I can't figure this out. Can we go to lunch? And she's like, I don't care. She's like, my son didn't wake. He turns 15 today. He didn't wake up until like 11:45. So I'm fine. He's fine.
Yeah, he's still trying to just suck down his first Red Bull.
Yes. So I do appreciate you doing this, and I apologize for the tech issues.
No, it's not a problem, but it's like funny because you're like, well, it's my son's birthday. I'm like, well, okay. There goes all the Playboy Gary Hart material. There goes, all this material I had on Manny Fernandez.
With the greatest perm in wrestling ever.
Yeah. I had 20 minutes on Paul Jones.
Okay, here we go. WrestleMania 4, they had the Battle Royal, right? And it's a who's who of horrible gimmicks. What the fuck was Ken Patera wearing? It was like a baby onesie. It was so bad. And I remember like the promos for Ken Patera like being in the jail cell because he beat up a cop for 7 years and was in jail. And he didn't beat up the cop for 7 years. He got sent to jail.
Beating a cop.
And so they brought him out and they thought that people would love him. They're like, why would we love somebody that beat up a cop? Like, I thought he would be the next Hulk Hogan. Well, Vince, you're an idiot. But yeah, and then the first guy eliminated in that Rumble, the Battle Royal, Sam Houston.
Wow, Sam Houston.
Yeah. The best part about it, though, is you had Bob Uecker, Gorilla Monsoon, and Jesse Ventura doing the announcing on the Battle Royal. And I love those three. When Bad News Brown turns on Bret Hart, Bob Uecker's like, What's going on? You told me they were friends. So, yeah, it was just funny. Like, and then George the Animal Steel never got into the ring. He pulled Jim Neidhart out over the ring, but he never got in.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I do love these bad gimmicks back from the day. But yeah, Ken Patera, I saw him. I was like, fuck you, Ken. You've never done anything. I don't care. Go to hell.
I loved when he they tried to make him a good guy. Like after he was part of the Heenan family, and Heenan was like, "You're a scumbag. You went to jail." And I'm like, "Wow, Bobby's right."
Yeah, Bobby was always right.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
Did you see him? He tried to jump out the window.
Oh, what a coward!
Marty Jannetty. Oh, God bless you, Bobby.
Whose side is he on?
Yeah. What? It's Hulk Hogan. He's, of course, on WCW. 10 minutes later, you go to hell. Straight to hell.
Oh, that was the best. I miss Bobby Heenan. I love watching like the old stuff like with Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, like when they did that primetime wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And because they just bullshit it.
Yeah. Like I'm just goofing on each other for like 20 minutes. Like, oh, and here's a match.
Well, and I love Jesse Ventura when he was announcing too. Like you put Ventura, Heenan, or Monsoon, like any of that combination, like Heenan and Monsoon was great. Ventura and Monsoon was great. Like, and it was just a good, strong heel commentator, but he wasn't over the top like Corey Graves is sometimes. Like you felt Heenan or Ventura believed it. Like that was like, why would you think like, and Ventura always going against Hogan was the greatest thing in the world. Oh, rakes to the eyes. That's going to be good for the kids to see. It's like, oh, Ventura, God, you're awesome.
I always loved Vince on commentary because he had no idea what he was calling.
No. Well, there's a clothesline and a pin. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he got out. Vince, it was a 2-minute into the match and it was a clothesline. Let's calm it down, Vince.
but like he would like it like, oh, what a great maneuver. Like no idea what it was. It just caught Vince by surprise and he had no idea. Like, what a maneuver. Like,
that was a body slam, Vince. What?
That was a tope suicida.
Could you imagine if he did Lucha Libre? What's these mask guys doing? that looked like a clothesline. That was a moonsault. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good job, Vince. Go pee.
That's what I loved about Joey Styles. Like Joey Styles had he knew the moves. Like I like it about Excalibur too.
Mm-hmm.
But Excalibur drives me a little nuts. Like I'm like, you feel dirty sometimes. But like Joey Styles, like he knew the names of every single move, was doing it by himself, and then would still find a way to like actually fit the storyline into what he was calling.
Yeah. You know what? Matt Stryker reminded me of a little bit of Joey Styles. Because I actually like Matt Stryker, but he did a little bit too much on the story. Like, too much the history. I like that because I like history of wrestling, but I can understand why people were like, oh, he's just annoying. It's like, I like Matt Stryker. Also, I met Matt Stryker, and he's one of the nicest guys I've met in wrestling. So,
yeah, like when him and Vampiro used to do, Lucha Underground.
Yes,
they were so good together.
Yeah. I also met Vampiro, interviewed him on the History of Bad Ideas. Very interesting guy.
That.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, that was a great interview.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, thank you.
I watched his documentary too, based upon your interview.
I liked his documentary. That was good.
Yeah.
He's had a rough life.
He has.
Yeah, he was really nice because Vampiro, I was like, I got so many questions, and he's like, well, keep going. It's like, well, no offense, your agent said that you only had this amount of time. Keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going with it. Yeah, so. Well, Sean, I'm going to go off to lunch for my son's birthday, but we will get this out this week. And I do really, we need talk. I really do need to we got to figure out which one, like an old school wrestling podcast about something, like either histories of WrestleMania, like favorite WrestleMania matches or worst WrestleMania matches, Rumbles or something. Because I know that we both love watching old school wrestling as well as new school.
Or you go hardcore and it's like, what was your favorite Starrcade?
Ooh, okay. I like that. Can we do favorite World War III pay-per-views? Why do we have 3 rings of 20? Because we can't see any of them. Oh, Van Hammer got thrown out. Damn it. I do like Starrcades, though. I do like the Starrcades. Yeah, that's good. So we got to talk. I would like to do a little bit more of these if our time permits of old school.
Oh, yeah. I do not think so. I have nothing but time.
Oh, well, there you go. My kids are getting older, so it's kind of, we do have more time now, so it's kind of nice. Sad, but nice. Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Jason from the History of Bad Ideas.
I'm Sean from the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast.
And we will see you on the next one. Everybody, Roger says goodbye.
The dreamer has awakened.
Woo! I need more reconstruction surgery.
I need a touch up.
Just put it in there, Doc. Just put it in there. Give me some collagen.
From Walking Dead to Talking Heads, from comic books to TV sets, there's a history of not so bad. There's the history. It's the history of bad, so bad. The history of bad, it's bad. The history of bad.